Good afternoon and welcome to the Alex Urbina radio show. We are broadcasting live from beautiful Newhall, California, right here on your hometown station KHTS. Joining me in studio today is my lovely co-host Ellen Tunick. It's always good to have you back in the studio with me, and it's good to have you volunteer always to be in the hot seat. What I love most about this interaction is because people get to vicariously learn, discover, and grow and be open to some possibilities by listening to our dialogue. And when you give yourself permission to go into the question or pose a question, then it allows both of us to explore possibilities so that both you and I can learn, and the people that are vicariously listening in, they can learn as well. And so again, thank you for being willing to just jump into the hot seat.
It's my pleasure.
So today's topic, we're going to dive into the question, who am I? And I think this is something that you have been swimming around in for a little while. I don't know how long, but why don't you talk to me about it? And then let's propose it as a question and we'll jump in.
Okay. I actually can remember having this in my head swimming around from the time I was a little girl. And as I got a little bit older, it was almost like the imposter theory, where you present yourself, but you don't feel that that's you. And it's kind of, you feel a little bit like an imposter playing a role.
Okay.
I feel like this a lot in my life. It hasn't really gone away. It has shifted. It has taken on, new meanings as I got older, did different things, but it hangs in the back of my head. And so the other day, someone said to me, you are such a kind, warm, loving person. And I was very grateful for those words. But as I left the conversation, I thought to myself, am I who people see me as? Is that me? Am I just a reflection of, what people decide I am? So once again, I go back to when I was a child. How do I really get to being really comfortable in understanding, embracing, who am I?
It's a great question, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to warn people in advance that this is the conversation and the coaching session we're going to have is an advanced coaching session. And you may or may not either grasp it or like it, or it might not be in alignment with what you've been taught or you've been conditioned to know, or all of those things. And so if it doesn't work for you, just flip the channel. If it does, then you are meant to be listening to this podcast, because I think there are millions of us in the world that have questioned, who am I? And it's a beautiful question to be in, and a beautiful journey, I think, that we've all embarked on, I think, since we were born. So with that being said, just take responsibility for if it's not something that feels right, or you just aren't ready to receive it yet. Don't get mad at me and send me hate mail. Just change the channel and just trust that maybe you weren't ready to hear it yet, or that it's a possibility that you're not ready to even be open to.
Right.
But, this is a show of being open to all possibilities so that we can learn and discover and grow and evolve as the beautiful human beings that we are. And so let's go down this rabbit hole. And I'm glad that you brought this conversation up and brought this topic up, because this has been part of my journey as well. And this question has led me a little bit more on to my spiritual journey as I started to be more in that question and really be eager about trying to figure that out. And so when it comes to self-mastery in that realm of discovery, I've come to a couple of conclusions, and the universe and higher power and whatever you want to call it, God, it just keeps affirming it for me. And so I'm going to share just a possibility, and you get to decide for yourself whether it makes sense or not, and we'll just kind of go down that road. So the conclusions I've come to, and what some of the great teachers and masters before us have opened up this possibility, that you're pure potential. It's like you're a blank slate. You're a white canvas. And you get the opportunity, because God gave us all this great gift called free will, to make our own choices. And there's this possibility that life is a process of figuring out who we are in each new moment. So with this tool belt you have with these amazing tools to choose to create yourself brand new in every single moment. So if you're pure potential, or you're this blank canvas, in your tool belt is a whole bunch of different colors of paint. And in every new moment, you can grab your paintbrush, decide which colors you want to paint, and then just paint yourself a new experience for yourself in that moment. So when people say to you, you're such a loving, caring, compassionate woman, obviously in whatever moment that they experienced you in, you were painting the choice to be loving, caring, and compassionate for them. And then they had that experience. But it's like every one of us wants to identify us and put ourselves in a box like, is that who I am forever?
Right.
Rather than it was who you
It was a
chose to be
moment.
in the moment. And then when the moment's over, it's a brand new slate again. And you have to keep choosing to keep creating yourself anew in each new moment.
Okay.
So when you ask yourself, who am I? Could it be possible that you're just pure potential? So you can be you have the potential to be anything you want if and when you choose to be it.
So, okay.
So,
yes, the answer to that is yes.
well, tell me what you're hearing first, because you don't have to decide yes or no. Just tell me what you're hearing.
What
me
I'm
say.
hearing is that I guess in my life, from the time I was little to the current and present life that I have, I'm actually looking to label myself and put myself in a box and go, well, this is who you are.
Isn't that what we all try to do? Like, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur. But the minute your kids grow up and leave your home, all of a sudden your self-worth and your identity became the mom, and then it's like, I'm no longer being mom anymore. So who am I?
It's
And
that
then,
identity thing.
yeah. And so what if your husband decides to go fall in love with someone else? You're no longer the wife no more, so who am I? And then you decide to retire from your career, and now you no longer have that title of identity.
So who am I?
So who am I? So you go back to always, who am I? Because maybe in error, we put ourselves in a certain personality or a label, or we boxed ourselves, rather than deciding that I'm just this blank slate that gets to keep deciding who I am in each new moment.
Yeah, that's going to take some work, which is okay. I
What does it mean when you say it's going to take some work?
it I think that I have followed this head trip for so long. I hear what you're saying. It sounds it sounds wonderful, because now I get to give myself permission not to be just one thing.
Yes. You're all things.
But
However, so imagine being all things at once. You just got to choose which one you're going to be in each new moment. Like Halloween.
yeah, what
Right?
costume do I get to wear? Who do I
Yes.
get to be tonight?
That's right. So imagine Halloween as an opportunity for you to choose whoever you want to experience yourself as.
It's such a new concept for me. It's a new concept. Obviously, I'm dragging a lot of limiting beliefs that I've had, because I think for me also, when I see people, I think I label them as well.
Absolutely. And now, with this new concept, you have to give all that up.
Yes.
You're good, you're bad, you're right, you're wrong. You know, you have to.
You're successful.
That's right.
You're
You're
CFO.
you're not.
You're not successful.
That's right.
You're a lazy bum.
Right.
You know.
So you have to give up all of those judgments and start to see everyone as pure potential.
So this is bigger than I thought it was when I decided to ask the question.
It's bigger than all of us, but it's a beautiful question to be in, because you're deciding whether it is or not. I'm just
throwing stuff out
there as a possibility. And from my own journey, and from having been in the question of who am I, a while back, and then constantly in that question, I started to get some answers. And the same answers that I'm sharing with you are, could it be possible that you are pure potential, and the process of life is for you to figure out and decide who you want to be, to choose who you want to be in each new moment. That's the purpose of free will.
So I get stuck. Sorry. I get stuck with being in situations where usually when it's a could be a confrontational type
Okay.
situation, I find myself getting stuck in I need to respond so that the way they want to hear it instead of saying, okay, who I am, who do I want to be in this moment?
That's right.
That's probably one of my biggest challenges is because I'm always looking. I don't do well with confrontation. I'm trying, I'm kind of working on that. Working on, I get to choose who I want to be, and if you don't like it, it's okay. That's really a huge challenge
What
for
a
me.
beautiful breakthrough for you to have.
Yeah.
To finally be free. Right. This is
I'm
where,
not free yet.
well, this is what freedom. This is what freedom looks like: is to be able to decide and choose who you are in each new moment, to choose what you want to do in each moment, without feeling like you have this pressure to be someone specific for somebody. So freedom is just being freed up to go, I'm choosing this.
Yeah.
This is my life.
And if the result is loss of some kind, because I think that's the story that I put in my head, is that if I do it that way, like, just be who I am, say what you want, have your opinion, express your opinion. In my head, it's like there's possibility of loss.
Loss of what?
Loss of a relationship,
All right,
loss
all right,
of love,
all right, got it. Now,
whatever.
Here's the cool thing about this discussion.
Okay.
You were living in the illusion that you actually have something to lose. Because you never really have a relationship. It's not yours. You don't own it.
Oh.
You don't possess it. And you can't control it. So you don't really lose something you've never had. But think how incredible it is that millions of us in this planet think that we have something. So then if we think we have it, we're afraid now we're going to lose it. But what if you've never really had it as yours to own in the first place?
So what does the word relationship mean?
Relationship is an opportunity for two people to share themselves with each other. But you don't have it. You don't own people. You don't own your kids. You don't own your husband.
It's not a thing. A relationship is not a thing that you either have or you don't.
No, it's a space. It's an agreement to come together and share myself with you. When we were sitting on that couch before we came on the show, our relationship was the space between both of us, and in a mutual agreement, we have to share with each other and listen to each other unconditionally, not judge each other, and support each other and be there for each other. That space is our relationship.
Okay.
But if you choose to be and enter in that relationship or engage with me ever again, I don't own that relationship. It's not mine. So therefore, I don't really feel like there's a loss. That doesn't mean that I won't be heartbroken because I miss those connections and those conversations. But it's an error for me to think that I own that relationship or that it belongs to me or you belong to me. You're my friend. Because then that's where fear comes in. And that's
then you
where
have
we're trying to control.
expectations of
That's
what
right.
it's supposed to look
That's right.
like and how someone's supposed to respond to you.
Yeah, so I just get to be grateful that every time I see you, I get to step into that new moment and choose to be and engage in that relationship, that mutual agreement we have with each other to share. I'm going to share a little bit about me. You're going to share a little bit about you. That's it. I don't have to fix you. You don't have to fix me. I don't have to take responsibility of what you need to do, or I don't have to change you. I don't got to do none of that.
Okay.
So now let's go back to loss. So you're afraid. So you said out loud, I'm afraid that if I just choose to be me in each new moment, that I'll have these losses, right?
Yes.
The fear that you'll piss someone off or you'll make someone upset, that they will not want to be in relationship with you no more.
Correct.
Or not love you anymore.
Very correct.
Okay, so we've already touched on the relationship you don't own. It's not yours. You can't possess a relationship, but you also can't own and possess love either from somebody, and that's an illusion too. And until we get clear about these illusions that we've created since we were little, they get in the way of us really tapping into our own potential and our own growth and our own freedom and joy and love and happiness.
It's so interesting to think in my life, all 60 plus years of it, that I've taken those things such as relationships, love, all of those, and I've applied this this idea to them that they're a thing, I can hold them, I can, manipulate them, I can have an expectation of them. To hear that that's not real is a little mind-blowing.
But it is
real.
It's real because you decided that it was real.
Right.
Whatever age you were. It's not real like it's real in the universe.
Right.
The universe just has given us opportunities to share with ourselves, and then it's called relating with each other. But you at some point decided, I like this, I want to hold on to it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you decided to hold on to
I'm
it,
going to hold on to it, I'm going to embrace it,
Yeah.
and I'm going to hold tight.
yeah, and now that I have it and I love it and I enjoy it and I'm gonna hold on to it, now the fear kicks in of what?
What happens if I lose it?
That's right. And so it's in our
And,
fear.
and if I can control not losing it, then I have chosen to do that. But in that process, I haven't been able to be me
Yeah, and free.
and free.
Yeah. And so is the control. That's an illusion too, that you can control the relationship or control the
I'm
love.
living
Yeah.
in a world of illusions.
So it's a matter of, can I surrender that old belief system that I had that's not going to serve me if I choose to grow and evolve and get to a place where I can truly live my life and be free. And then operating in a place where you're have some freedom is where peace comes in.
and
Joy and love
And
and gratitude.
And this is what drives me right now is finding peace in myself, which is the only place you can look to. But creating peacefulness, and all this external stuff that I'm challenged with stops me from getting to that peaceful place.
Perfect. When we come back from the break, I'm going to open up now the possibility that there's some universal, there were some things going on that when we were born, some things happened and we were set up in a specific way for us to figure out how to decide who I am in each new moment. And that's going to really blow your mind.
Ooh, can't wait.
And for those of you that are tuning in vicariously, it's going to open up some possibilities for you to decide whether it feels right or not, and then choose it for yourself. Stay tuned for more of the Alex Urbina Radio Show right here in your hometown station, KHTS.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Who says nothing good happens after midnight? Denny's is best known for their breakfast served round the clock like the Grand Slam. But you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner in a casual atmosphere 24/7. At Denny's, the lunch and dinner menu has a variety of appetizers, craveable burgers, salads, and entrees, along with the best desserts in town. Wherever you live in Santa Clarita, there's a Denny's close by. If you're pulling an all-nighter or don't feel like cooking, get into Denny's today. Good stuff is happening at Denny's.
Hometown, your hometown station.
And welcome back to the Alex Urbina Radio Show, broadcasting live from Newhall, California. If you're just joining us in this new moment, I'm a coaching show. We're a coaching show. and we're opening up possibilities for us to dive into and really examine some of the questions I think that we all seek answers for, to help us find some self-mastery, find the peace, joy, love, and happiness that we all deserve. And today we're talking about the topic, who am I? And you shared before the show that this is something that you've been in the question since you were a little girl. And when I said to you, your pure potential, or there's a possibility that you are a pure potential with a blank canvas, that you can create yourself brand new. What comes to mind for you? Like, did that excite you? Did it scare you?
Oh no, it excited me because I was able to understand for the first time, even though I know I've heard this before. You have to hear it over and over again. I don't have to be just that one thing. I think that for so long I've been trying to find this construct of identity. I am this. This is who I am.
And were you trying to discover that or identify it so that you can fit in? Is that why you were trying
fit
to
in with me? It just said, "Oh, okay, that's me. I'm good now." Instead of what I have been feeling, which is aimlessly wandering through the whole "who am I" thing, not understanding that. Give me a moment and I'll tell you who I am.
let me decide who I want to be in this moment.
Give me a situation. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
That, as you said, is a very freeing concept. One that I had not opened myself up to. Old beliefs, old structures in my head, labels, judgments, all of those things play into who you think you are. I don't think they necessarily have to. I get to choose it like brand new.
So now let me introduce a concept. Have you ever heard the saying, you're a spiritual being having a human experience?
Yes,
I
have.
You're not a human being in search of a spiritual experience.
Say it again.
You're a spiritual being having a human experience. You're not a human being in search of a spiritual experience. Have you ever heard that before?
I have.
Okay. So that implies that there's those of us that at a certain point we believe ourselves to be human beings, and then we have an awakening or an enlightening moment, and we go down this path of spirituality, and then we discover this spiritual experience. Well, there's this theory and this concept that you were born a spiritual being into a human body with a human brain, and you've always been spirit. You just entered this world forgetting that you're spirit, so that you can remember that you're a spirit.
I like it.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get boxed in with that concept of word.
So imagine you were born and we were all just spirits. We would all just know each other to be love.
I love.
Right?
I love it.
just love. But being just love is not enough for us to experience ourselves as love. Because you can't experience yourself as love if you don't have its opposite. Do you understand that?
Yes.
It's the polarity of this versus that, hot versus cold. One thing can't exist without its opposite. So if we were all love, we wouldn't
know love.
We wouldn't know who we are. So we would really be confused of not knowing who we are, because it's just all we were. So in order for us to really know the meaning of us being this loving spiritual being, the only game that was figured out was to have us be born coming into this world having forgotten that we are that. So then we grow up as human beings thinking that we're less than, going through a process of judgment and, thinking we're less than because we're comparing to each other. We have to go through that whole process. While we're in that process, in that discovery, a little bit of time we're waking up, and some of us are starting to remember who we truly are, who we've always been. And as we start to wake up and realize that now it's not enough for me personally to live my life without letting other people know that they too are that being, that spiritual being, and they are that love, and they are that light. Once you've discovered that, you cannot not help other people discover it. However, it's a unique process and individual journey for everyone. Because if you went around sharing that with everybody, you would scare the heck out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? And like, you have to be ready to embark on that journey. And I feel like today, I don't know why, but I drove in today feeling that it was going to be a conversation like this.
Really?
Yeah, because it was a part of me was like, I feel like this is going to be a deeper conversation, but I was leaving it open to that it was going to be something about, your family, your kids, whatever. And I just
Right.
left it open. But when I asked you, what do you want to talk about a few minutes before we went on the radio, and you said, I want to talk about who am I was like, oh my God. Like it's just like, there are no accidents.
No,
and so guess
no
what? We're having this
coincidences.
discussion because
It was meant to
yeah,
happen
Yeah. How do we know it's meant to happen?
because we're doing it. Because it's happening.
Because we're having the discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, that leads it all back to what the other thing I've worked on is being in that moment, being in the moment, being in the moment. So,
Yeah, and being in the present moment gives you the opportunity to decide who do I want to be in relationship to what's happening in front of me.
yeah, it's always fascinating to me to see how people respond to you, what they say, how they act, but I want to be in that space that says, to me, that's just them. That's not necessarily me. That's them. And for so long, I've taken that too literally. I've taken that in, and I've tried to, figure all that out. And after hearing, I don't have to do that. I can just let it be and then decide what I needed in that moment.
So now I'm going to throw some scenarios at you.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
play a game.
Oh, boy.
It's a game.
Okay.
You like games?
I love games.
All right. So let's say after the show, you drive off, you get to the gas station, and you're pumping gas, and this woman walks up to you. She has her baby in her arms, and she says to you, I'm out wandering the streets. I'm still trying to find my way, and I haven't eaten in a couple of days. Can you spare me a couple of dollars, even if it's $1? In that moment, there's an opportunity for you to recreate yourself in that moment, to experience yourself as something. What do you choose?
I would choose to help.
Okay, so then you dig in your pockets, pull out some coins or some green, and you hand it over to her.
There's so much more I would want to do.
All right, but let's say
yes,
you're in
okay.
a hurry and you're
Yeah.
like, here you go, honey, go get yourself a hot meal.
Right.
It's $5, $10, whatever. And right?
Yes.
In that moment, do you see this lady suffering?
Yes.
All right. Her suffering is part of the world conditions that we've created collectively, consciously, as a society.
Okay.
And she's showing up in this moment for you, and you get to decide who you want to be in reflection to her and her request or her invitation or her asking for some money to eat. You get to decide. When you hand that money over, you get to have an experience. What's the experience you're having of yourself?
That I'm kind and giving, and that I really do love mankind.
So I'm kind, I'm giving, I'm compassionate, and
Yes.
I'm abundant.
Yes.
Because you can't give something if you're not coming, if you're not abundant, right?
Yes.
If you give, it's there. There's plenty of where that came from, and because I'm giving it away, universe is sending me more, and so I'm abundant, right?
Okay.
So you're having opportunities to choose to be and create yourself brand new in that moment.
Okay.
So that's how life is unfolding. In each new moment, you're in relationship to everything that's happening in the world, and then you get to decide, who do I want to be in this moment?
It's my relationship with me.
Well, you have a relationship with yourself. But you're also in relationship to everything
Right.
in the world.
But I don't own it.
No, you don't own none of it. like
Have to make sure.
like, and this is a different topic. We talked about this before about relationships. Like, I'm in relationship to this microphone. I'm in relationship to the chair, right? The chair provides stability for me to rest myself. The microphone provides an opportunity for me to have my voice be heard across the world if it goes that far. So we're in relationship to everything, and you're in relationship to something, and you're always deciding what the meaning is and how I want to be in relationship to this, whatever it is. So that's an opportunity I wanted to open up for you, that you're constantly in new moments to decide who you are in that moment. Now you can decide to say no, like go get a job and tell her to, like, whatever. Now in that moment, how are you experiencing yourself?
Of being abundant and giving, or
saying
no?
Saying no, go get a job, like, don't bother me. How are you experiencing yourself in that moment?
If I were to do that, I would feel guilty. I would feel sad that I chose to do that. I would overthink it.
Okay, so you would choose to beat yourself up in that moment?
Yes.
Okay. Out of all the choices, you would choose to beat yourself up.
Yeah, by saying go get a job.
All right. There's other possibilities that you can choose other than just beating yourself up and then going down that rabbit hole. But you can choose to, in that moment, experience yourself as being afraid, having fear, coming from a place of fear. In that moment, you can experience yourself as disconnecting from her pain. You can choose in that moment to experience yourself as a taker. In that experience, you can choose yourself. You can even experience yourself as choosing to take a stand for her too. Because some people believe, like, if we just give people money, just
right,
then they're just going to keep. Now we're enabling them.
Right.
So I don't want to paint a picture of just one side. There's multiple sides. You're the one deciding what your experience is in those moments.
And we have those moments all day long.
Every moment is a new moment for you to decide who you are in that moment.
And that is, I don't think I've realized that. I really, really do not think that I've realized that until this conversation.
And this might be the first conversation of many that you're going to have to keep remembering it. Because
Absolutely.
if it's and it doesn't mean it has to be like that. Like, you can just hear this one conversation and just flip a switch and you got it. But if you did that, you would definitely surpass my journey, because I'm still in the process of constantly reminding myself of this process.
Well, it fascinates me that, even though you hear it, it's going to be a constant process that the human brain, the body, whatever, doesn't just take that in and say, here we go.
Yeah, but this is what's cool about it, is that once someone opens up a possibility or shares some insight with you where you understand how the game was designed, or how to not really win the game, but you understand the purpose of the game.
Right.
All of a sudden you just go, oh my God.
Yeah. But now you have to practice that game.
No, you don't have to. You can choose.
Well, I can choose to practice.
You could choose to just go back to pretending you didn't know about it.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
Well, yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But that's what most of us are doing, is pretending not to know, pretending not to look at it, pretending not to take responsibility for choosing my life and reinventing myself brand new, because then I've got to be accountable for my results, and then I can't be the victim. I can't blame nobody anymore.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's right. And so that's why a lot of us pretend not to know. We don't know we're pretending not to know. It's a byproduct.
We're just walking through
It's
that.
a byproduct of us being unconscious. We just pretend not to know, and if I don't have to look at it, if I don't have to own that theory or concept, I can sit now back and be the victim and blame, people, or blame the world, or blame all the bad people, or blame the politicians.
Just the
or
blame game.
Yeah, you can blame anybody other than looking at yourself and going, how can I take
What role did
accountability
I play in this?
for this?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Woo. It's it's outrageously exciting. And as the holidays approach, I get an opportunity to utilize this, which is great timing. I think it's great timing because families come together. There's a lot of expectations on things. I learned last year, fortunately, that I have no expectations of the holiday. We just get to have them. So this is a really great...
Was that for my show?
Yeah.
That kind of sounds familiar.
Yeah, does that sound familiar? That it doesn't have to look a certain way. Every year, we get to have it look however we want it to look.
That's right, because you're choosing in each new moment how to reinvent yourself or create yourself anew, and you're also co-creating the moments with your friends and family.
Right.
Scenario number 2, you ready?
I'm ready.
Someone in your family hurts your feelings, and they come back to you and they say, I'm so sorry. This is now an opportunity for you to experience yourself as
grateful
and
happy and loving. And I mean,
I'm looking for the F word, but not that F word. Andrew knows, right?
he's I don't okay.
If someone hurts your feelings, comes back and says, I'm sorry. What's the F word you give them?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm just
forgiveness.
Yes. You get an opportunity to experience yourself as a forgiving person.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now that.
Here's where the challenge comes in.
Never forget the F word now.
Here's that's right. Now, here's the challenge. They hurt your feelings, but don't know how to say, I'm sorry. Can you still choose to create yourself anew in that moment and choose to forgive them anyways?
Yes. And I've done it a million times.
Now, okay, great. Now, in these moments when people hurt our feelings, most of the time we go into judgment and we decide that was bad, that was wrong, that was hurtful. And then we go into psychological resistance. I can't believe she did that, he did that. And we don't see it as an opportunity for me to dig down deep and figure out who do I want to be in relationship to my son saying this to me, or my husband making that comment to me, or whatever it is. It's an opportunity for me to forgive her.
Yes. I would much prefer to forgive.
Right. Now, but in those moments when we put those feelings in there, it's very challenging for us to see it as an opportunity for me to forgive, because most of us are going to be waiting for what?
The apology.
The apology.
Which we may never get.
Right. But if it comes, it's still an opportunity for you to be experiencing yourself as a forgiver.
Yes.
If they don't apologize, you still have the opportunity to choose to experience yourself as a forgiving person to them, whether they apologize or not. So the point of the scenario is to point out that all things happen for a reason, and maybe those things are here and they show up in our lives to teach us something, or they're an opportunity for us to step into to decide who I am in relationship to what's actually happening.
That right there, who I want to show up at that moment of what is happening. I get to choose that at that moment. I don't have to have I don't have to have a plan of who I am. I can choose that when it happens.
Right now, but you can still have an answer to who I am. Who I am is pure potential.
Pure potential
Who I am is the space to decide who I want to be
in that moment.
in that moment. Who I am is a blank canvas to choose to be whoever it is that I choose to be or even experience myself as. See, we forget we need the experience to really words are important, so give me a second. We need the experience to solidify who I am. Because you
Yes.
can have it up in your head as a concept for 100 years. But if you don't follow it up with an experience, it's just a concept.
Right. You need the opportunity to take that concept and apply it to.
It has to be applied. It has
Yeah.
to be experienced.
Right.
Because knowing is not enough.
Yeah, you can't just sit up in your head, which I will tend to do, and say, well, if that happens, this is how I want to experience that.
Right. And so there's this common phrase that I grew up listening to, and it's called knowledge is power.
Yes.
And what I've discovered is knowledge is not power. Knowledge is just knowledge. You can have all the knowledge in the world, and if you don't apply it, if you don't put it in play, if you don't experience it, if you're not implementing it, if you're not practicing it, if you're
Not
not
really
sharing
using
it to
it.
somebody, yeah. If it's just
Doesn't
sitting there,
matter.
if just sitting there up in your head, there's no power in that. But knowledge with committed action to implement and or have the experience is where you really solidify it.
It's the experience that I'm looking for.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show and have any other address any other questions that you might come up with. We'll be right back.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly, or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, SCV.
The Art Gallery of Santa Clarita Artists Association, located in downtown Newhall on 6th Street between Railroad and Main, features local members' original artwork with changing exhibits every 2 months. Purchase affordable art for your home or as gifts. Open Friday through Sunday or by appointment. Artists wishing to join the SCAA can visit santaclaritaartist.org, come to our free monthly meetings at Barnes & Noble, or stop by the gallery. For upcoming shows, check us out at santaclaritaartist.org. We make visual art visible.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call the Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Mission Valley Bank puts the community in community banking. They strive to be your most trusted bank. Mission Valley Bank is happy to sponsor KHTS Holiday Music. Happy holidays!
This holiday music is brought to you by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, your community health partner. To learn more about our award-winning care, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us on the web at providence.org.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
And welcome back to the Alex Urbina Radio Show. We're broadcasting live from Newhall, California, right here in your hometown station, KHTS, in studio with Ellen Tunick, who graciously decided to jump into the hot seat and throw out the question, who am I? And now she's overwhelmed.
Yes.
In a good way.
In a very, very good way. It's like so typical of me, though, to want to take every morsel of information that I just received and not forget any of it. And it does get like overwhelming. So once again, I can choose to, whatever comes up for me is what I was supposed to remember and apply, and then I can go back and I can revisit all of this and take a little bit more, but, here's the other thing. Okay. What happens if you're on this journey, such as I feel I am, but the people around you might not be on that same journey?
Well, there's no what if in that question. It's just the truth.
Okay.
There are going to be people that aren't on that journey.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter because you're on it.
Okay.
And so imagine the concept that if each and every one of us discovers our own light at some point and we shine our light so bright that other people look at that light and go, am I not too that light as well? Do I not also have that light inside of me? And then all of a sudden, boom, now their light shines.
Right.
So it's each and everybody's individual awakening and awareness that opens up, that other people are watching and observing and experiencing you. And then they're also deciding whether they also have that same ability. But you're not going to be able to make people get there, force people to get there. That's not how this works.
And I have to remember also that it's about what I am doing in that moment.
It's always about what you're doing.
Right.
There's a part of you that doesn't want to take 100% accountability for that. And we
Yeah.
want to go, but what about you?
Yeah.
And then we want to force
if
them
I
to
do this, then they'll do that.
Yeah.
That's
Well, that's where the fear comes in.
Yes.
If I forgive you, then that means you're going to always just keep taking advantage of me, right?
Right.
The fear comes in.
Yeah. I think I have a lot more fear about things than I thought I did.
Oh, we all do.
Oh, okay.
Then
I'm all good.
It's in that area of the things I don't know about myself. There's a whole other area where we haven't explored.
But
and the juice is being willing to jump in there and look at some of that stuff so that we can close that gap up a little bit more.
Yeah, we need to close that gap because I find myself, if I'm totally honest with myself in a lot of situations, and I think this is why I might be challenged with who I am, is that I can see who I would like to be in certain situations.
Perfect.
But I also seem to be steamrolled more so by the fear of the situation.
Right. And that new awareness and the clarity you just got on that is going to help you in those moments have more clarity to just surrender the fear and then choose to be who you decide to be in that moment. And then you'll have the breakthrough. And the more you practice that, you get better at it.
Right.
This all takes practice.
And it's not so fearful anymore.
The fear slowly just you chip away
at it.
So right now, if it's an 80% rock, solid, big rock mountain of fear, you just keep chipping away until it's this little boulder in the corner.
Okay. It's just interesting to me as we talk about this, just how much fear I really have about a lot of things.
Yeah, we all do. And that's what has our society and our world be the way it is. All the things that you look at the world and see that what you don't like, the things that doesn't that hurts our spirit, hurts our soul, it comes from everyone's individual fear that ends up being a collective fear of humanity, and then we wonder why the world is showing up in a specific way. And the way that we course correct that is to shift from fear into love, into becoming from love as individuals. Now, if we all decided it in one instant, like if we had this world day where for 1 hour we were all going to just be loving in the world and do loving acts, we would transform the world in that 1 hour. We would change the course of where humanity is going. But that seems to be such a daunting task up until now that not enough of us subscribe to the I take responsibility for what's happening in the world as an individual, and then as an individual collectively with a collective consciousness that we're somehow causing these things to happen.
Well, I want to take this moment and make a commitment to myself that I will chip away at the fear that limits me from getting to this who I get to be moment.
And I'm really proud of you for taking that. It takes a lot of courage. Yeah, and it takes not only a lot of courage for you to say it inside, but for you to declare it out loud.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, that's how we change, is to have the courage to say it out loud. Because when I say it out loud and I hear myself say it, and then I have other people around me that hear me, it's like lighting a fire under my butt to go, okay, now I just declared that. I get to be this.
I get to be that.
Yeah. And so I'm witness.
Yes.
And I'll support you in that.
I know you will.
You know I
know
got
you will.
I'm always in your corner. All right, that's the time we have. Thanks for listening in. We're here every Friday at noon. Please follow me on Facebook at Coach Alex Urbina. I'm also on Instagram and YouTube. And thanks for joining us on the Alex Urbina Radio Show right here in your hometown station, KHTS.